Hi everyone, it's Kerry and Laughing Crow. We are here answering questions as Laughing Crow put out a request for questions from the audience a couple of weeks ago. So we're going through a couple of questions each fortnight and hopefully you'll be able to answer them, Laughing Crow, and hopefully a lot of you will resonate with the answers. Okay, our first question tonight comes from someone asking, life and spirituality, with all the information resources at hand, books, media, religion, beliefs, how do we know the information is truth, like actual human path truth? Example, we know if you cut yourself, you will bleed. However, there is no actual truth of what happens when we die. There are opinions, theories, etc., etc. However, not actual, when you die, you will. So, what's your view on that, Laughing Crow?
Okay. So there's a couple of different layers in that question. The first layer really is trying to work out the difference between truth and bullshit. Because let's face it, the whole world, there's a lot of bullshit out there. But I think really the better question here is what actually rings true for me. Because my perspective is going to work for me, your perspective will work for you. It doesn't actually matter the minor, smaller details. It's actually the end result. Because life is a journey, and it's a journey to actually move towards truth for yourself. When we try to think in black and white of truth, untruth, you're actually missing that nice grey middle bit in the middle where the real learning is. Because it's not actually about trying to work out whether it's true or not. It's whether it is true for you. And if it fits into how you perceive the world and it works for you and you grow spiritually towards being a better person, that's the real question. My follow-up question would be, where in your life are you seeing an untruth, but you're counting it as truth? Where are you actually bullshitting yourself? That's actually the real question here. Does that make sense?
It does. Now, I was going to ask the question, how do you know that outside sources, so podcasts, books, videos, whatever, are actually truth? Is it something that, for a bit of a deeper aspect, is it something that you discard and you go looking within first, or is it something that people can use as a resource for their own truths?
Okay, again, this is coming back to a better question. Is everything I'm consuming out there in the world, is it useful to me, or is it something that I'm just consuming for the sake of looking spiritual? Because there's a lot of people out there in the world with their own perspective that they're sharing. It doesn't actually mean that that will be the truth for you. That's the truth for them. The process is, it's like if you read a novel and you're reading a story, you're not necessarily seeing it as a true story. You're seeing it as a story and you're creating meaning from that story. Now, if you can read something and create a metaphor within yourself, so you can relate it to your own life, great. It's done its purpose. Knowledge out there and people sharing stuff is fantastic, but it still has to go through the filter of your own lived experience. That's what's more important. So again, the better question is what's out there true? Is it true for me in my lived experience?
And then with answering your question before, deciphering what's bullshit from truth, that would have a lot to do with your own belief systems that you have from your childhood and from beyond, correct?
Well, it's a story we tell ourselves, and that comes down to your own belief system, your own self-belief. So, I may read a story and I'll interpret it one way because I'm coming from a certain perspective, and if that's a perspective that is, let's say, self-deprecating, it's putting myself down, I'm going to perceive that differently from someone who sees it as, that's a lesson for me and I can do better. It's the viewer's perspective. It's not what's written down, it's what is created inside for you to start thinking about.
Just going a little bit deeper as well, how do you know in your body that it sits right? How do you know that? Because truth has a frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So does
Let me just cut you off there. Truth for you has a frequency.
Mm-hmm.
You get a recognition, don't you?
Mm.
When you hear something and it resonates with you, you hear that a lot out in the spiritual world. Oh, that resonated with me.
Mm.
Great. What are you going to do with that resonation?
But what does resonation mean?
It can be different for different people.
For example?
Have you ever had the goosebumps?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good indicator. That's something sunk into your subconscious and you've gone, okay, pay attention to that. It's your body signals. Your body signals are actually your subconscious telling you, hey, pay attention to that. This is relevant. It's like when you have a dream. When we dream, if we remember the dream the next day, if we pause long enough to actually think about it, you'll start to go, that's what my subconscious was telling me. Your body actually does the same thing day to day. You may get just a sudden rise of warmth. You may get butterflies in the tummy because you're going, oh shit, yes, I recognize this, and holy crap, I do that. And you may not yet be ready to do anything about it, so your body reacts in, panic mode. I don't know what to do with this. It's just data. It's not truth, it's just data for you to go, okay, I've had a reaction here. I need to actually think about this, contemplate it, sit with it, let it integrate. Just because you get a signal doesn't mean it's true or not. It's just a signal for you to go, pay attention, here's some data. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer the question?
That certainly does. And a lot of people out there are asking questions on how does it feel in my body? What does this mean? I don't quite understand it. So you've answered it perfectly.
Okay. But there's also this, people will use pendulums for yes and no. And look, there's an element of truth to that. You can have your body react to with a pendulum so that it's getting a yes or no signal. That's fine. But the problem is your body reacting from a fear base and it's giving you the answer from that fear base, or is it, a reaction that's actually coming from your subconscious going, hey, yes, this is true, keep going. That's the trick. There is no definite way to decide that apart from sitting with it. Integrate. Look at your own life and use that data to apply to your own life. It's all about data. It's all about the patterns. If you can see a pattern that fits to what you've learnt about, and you can go, that applies to my life, then that will be a truth for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you. We have another question too. What is something I can do when I feel stuck in my spiritual growth? It's like when you start a diet and lose weight really quickly, but then you plateau 10 pounds from your goal weight.
The spiritual diet. Okay. Look, this is actually very, very common. It's in the danger of this sounding cliche, but it's actually part of the process. Because this leads on from exactly what we were just talking about, the integration phase. So we'll go through a cycle, and this often will happen after we've hit rock bottom and start building ourselves up, and everything just feels new and wow, we're moving. I'm learning so much. I'm getting awakened. Yeah, you are. What are you going to do with that? The plateau hits when the subconscious is taken in enough, but you're not doing anything with it. What's your next move? Have you changed your life? Have you changed how you relate to other people? Have you put in place different practices to practice this new way of being? That's what the plateau is actually asking you to do. It's not, I'm not going to learn anything new. It's, hey, how about we actually practice this stuff before we move into the next phase? Because you can't learn something new if you haven't got the basics right and you haven't applied it in your life. It's just like the layers of a chocolate cake. If you don't put that first layer in and it's not cooked properly, the whole cake just goes. Baker's one there for you. I thought you'd appreciate that.
I know. I'm a baker.
So the plateau is nothing to be scared about. It's nothing to get frustrated with. It's just, okay, now look at what I've been working on and am I applying it in my real life? That's it in a nutshell. Because once you start applying these things in your life, so say for example, you've had some aha moments about gratitude, for instance, and okay, you might be starting to be more grateful about different little things, but is it a core ingrained practice? Are you doing it every day? Are you waking up and going, I'm deciding to be grateful about this today? Because once you make a decision to do something that you've been given, shown, you've had your aha moment, it's not the inspiration, it's not the aha moment, it's a decision that you can actually do something with it. For instance, I had a client once who came in and she finally got the idea of, okay, I can react or I can respond. Reaction was fear-based, but she could pause and respond instead. And I said to her, okay, are you doing that? No. So you've had the aha moment, but you're not practicing doing that. Once you start practicing, what happens is not only do you shift a new way of behaving and doing something. But that horrible bloody spiritual notion of vibration, let's break that whole idea of high vibes down to, hey, I'm actually acting more in truth with who I am. That's what the high vibration is. It's not creating good wishes, feelings, feel good thoughts. It's, am I actually living my life to my beliefs? That's your high vibration. Once you start doing that, the world starts to open up. The plateau is, hey, to get to that next high vibration, start practicing what you've been taught about.
And also, too, a lot of people have expectations on where they want to be. And when there is a plateau too, they're sitting in the future and they're not sitting in the present as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And that's the whole point of putting it in action. Because when you're actually putting it in action, you're actually living in the moment. You're not looking forward to, oh, in a year I'm going to be feeling so much better because, no. You're feeling so much better now because you're starting to live authentically in what you believe and how you put that out to the world. That's what makes you feel better. Not a year down the track, right now. That's living in the moment. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you for answering those questions. I hope everyone else has got something out of those two questions, and look forward to another session answering questions in a couple of weeks. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.